Welcome to Wedding Day Podcast with your hosts, Sonia Babich, CEO of Iron Diamond Media, a leading wedding resource featuring 7 localized wedding brands across the country, and Dan Riggs, photography and videography expert and founder of Summit Hill Studios. Come along as they travel from state to state to connect with the most creative and well-respected professionals in the wedding industry. Every episode will arm you with the hottest new trends, wedding day tips and details, and they'll show you all the joys of planning your perfect wedding day.
Welcome to Wedding Day Podcast. Today we are in downtown Seattle with Luly Yang, Couture, world-class, worldwide designer, and we are so excited to be here.
Honored.
And honored too, in your beautiful boutique.
Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good to have your visit.
So
I just, and Stephanie and your staff can attest to this, I just have been wandering around the store, just in awe of all of the beautiful, I'm even appreciating the gowns, but the jackets, you let me wear this beautiful
You're looking pretty GQ there.
Yeah.
Very
GQ.
nice.
Yeah. Does this piece have a name?
This one,
Yeah.
I don't think we've named it. It's a new one.
Okay.
It
New
is
baby.
buttery.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Buttery.
Love it. And that's not usually my thing. So when I came in, I was just like, wow, look at all this great stuff.
Yeah, that's from our kind of limited edition ready to wear.
Ready to wear.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you do, of course, wedding gowns.
Yes.
But also mother of the bride, father of the bride, and just custom wear.
We
daily
dress
wear.
the whole wedding party. It's really special for us to actually, we've done quite a few weddings for the whole family, and it's one of my favorite things to do is to dress the whole family.
Oh, I'm sure. You can see the whole vision.
Yes.
So it's actually
yes.
will look beautiful on the wall.
Yeah, and we get to know the whole family that way, and it makes it such a rich experience, not only for me, but hopefully for the whole family too, and we have such a good time.
Oh,
It's
I'm
a blast.
Sure. Oh, yes. And especially when the dads, it's their turn, they get bashful. Oh, don't worry about me. And then they come out of the dressing room and they're just grinning at
You're seeing this, right? Yeah.
Me, I'm the dad. That's me. I come out and I put this jacket on, this coat
Yeah.
on, and I was just like, ooh.
Yeah, there's something magical about the right garment and the right clothing when we put it on that is hard to explain, but it's a very personal thing. I
Oh,
think.
it is. It
Yeah.
should be. Fashion is a personal thing.
It is personal. It's the one product that human beings design that touches all of us, and it touches us in a very close way, in a very intimate way.
It does. I totally agree with that.
I love that. So tell me, how did you get started? How did you know that you wanted to design beautiful things for people?
Well, I was working in an architecture firm before as a graphic designer, and I was focused on branding and retail design, and I really liked the experiential design part of it. And just a few years into my career, I actually entered into a contest.
Okay.
And it was a graphic designers contest, and we had to use paper to design dresses. And so I was part of that whole event. It was we raised money for Art with Heart for kids.
Okay.
And through that process of designing the 2 paper dresses, I fell in love with the fact that I can design product and gowns for human beings that they can then wear and live in it. And it was, I think it was that year in 2000 that I decided that I needed to just switch my medium from the interior graphic side into fashion.
And you took the leap.
Yes.
And you're so well
Successful
known.
leap, I would say. Yeah.
So
Good
well
job.
known.
Yeah, and the first dress was the monarch dress. That was the monarch was my metamorphosis.
Where are my girls? We talked about that today.
Yeah, this is my
I was like,
metamorphosis.
this photo, this framed drawing, I'm like, there has to be purpose with this.
Yeah, it was the first dress.
Oh, I love that. So when a bride, contacts you, I feel that they really did the research that they want a Luly dress. What does that process look like from them contacting you and bringing them into the boutique?
So it's a very again, we pride ourselves on the experience too. So it's not just about the dress; it's the process of creating it for the bride and for their family as well, for dressing the whole family. Is that they would first make a consultation appointment with us, and when they come in, we would sit similar to this and really have a discussion about what they dream of and what their wedding is like, where the location, the season, and
true.
all of those things come into play when making a decision on the fabric, the silhouette, the fit and the comfort level, that they want. If it's going to be cold or hot.
All
So you can really
things,
put yourself inside their day.
Right,
Yeah. Oh,
right.
that
I
makes great sense.
actually told a lot of my engaged couples when they were planning, and before they pick anything, if they pick the venue, great, and they pick their planner, etc. But when they pick the dress, I feel like that actually communicates throughout the entire wedding, because the fabric, the details,
Yes.
kind of can tell elaborate, simple, romantic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that way?
Yes, because it's a piece of their personality coming through. So when you can see and visualize it in the dress or in the way they choose, like you said, is it embellished? Is it blingy, crystally? Is it very subtle? Is it matte? Is it shiny? That all kind of brings their personality out in a way, and I think allows us all who are creating this vision and this experience for the bride, it brings us all to that place with the bride.
Yeah, totally.
Luly, I'm a videographer, and so I get to see a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff during getting ready of the day.
Yeah,
And I
you
get
capture all the magic.
I do, and I get to hear these stories about, because we do something called the dress reveal. So that's where the bride will show all the bridesmaids, here's what I chose.
Yes.
Ta-da. And a lot of times they'll tell a story afterward, like, I wasn't gonna pick this dress. I had another dress completely in mind, and I was.
That was me. Mine,
Yeah.
completely different.
But I was trying all these on, and I was like, wow, this is the one. So have you had anyone that you've sat down with, and they've described their perfect dress to you, and then you've showed them something, shown them something else, and they're like, oh yeah, this is
Probably
it.
looking at their body type.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
sure.
that's happened. So we've done so many gowns right over the last 23 years, and so we've seen all different sizes and shapes and personalities. So yes, that happens, and it's actually usually a surprise for the bride, but it's a good surprise. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that I would like strapless when I thought I wanted to have a cap sleeve, or I thought I wanted straps. But I really like how that opens up my face and how it frames me. So that's all. I always encourage looking into a couple other options as well. So when they come in and try, we would kind of introduce a couple other options, as long as and also try on what they came for. Yeah.
Exactly. So they usually say, I'm interested in a certain gown that I want to try on.
We definitely will do that because
Okay.
we want to see how that looks. Trying it on, it's really helpful.
So the word that is I feel is popping up more is bespoke. And honestly, for a while, I'm like, what does bespoke mean? Can you go in detail what bespoke means?
It's couture custom. It's really custom. It's a word
Correct.
for custom. We use it for menswear a lot, bespoke, and then for women we say couture. Bespoke means made to measure. So we will take the measurement of our bride or our groom, and we will make the garment just for them. So it's not something that's mass produced. It's not something that's off of a pattern of
So it's
someone
one of
else's.
so one of a kind.
It's one of a kind. It's made just for that particular person.
Oh, that's so special. Who wouldn't want a bespoke dress?
Yeah, one of a kind, just like their wedding.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And no wedding is the same, as we all know. So when they come in and they don't have, probably just a Pinterest board, sometimes if they want to make a bespoke dress, how do you begin that process? Do you sketch it right there in front of
We do.
them?
We do.
Oh, you
So
do?
if they come and they will, some brides come with just a vision by words. They'll say, I want this, this, and this. And then we would pull a few things and say, do you mean this? So that makes sure that we're communicating correctly back and forth. If they show us photos, it's actually very clear. It's more tangible like that. And we would either bring samples out or a combination of bringing samples out, trying on, and also sketching. And sometimes we drape fabric on their body.
Okay. Well, yeah, going off of that too, draping fabric, does that help guide them what color of white? Because there's different colors of white.
There are so many shades of white.
Yes.
Yeah.
So many.
So the certain color of skin looks good with a little slightly warmer shade. Some are better with a little bit of a blushy tone. And some people look better with the darker, like a pearl or ivory. So it's all very very, very sensitive kind of parts of what we do is looking at the lighting. And then we ask, are you going to be, is it a nighttime wedding?
Yes.
Is it candlelight? Is it, midday?
Yeah.
And then we try to kind
Location.
of take that into consideration is what does the wedding day look like? And is it on the beach? It's going to be windy. What kind of fabric will we choose?
So if you were on the beach, would it be heavy fabric?
No, because usually beach weddings are usually happening in a warmer climate, so we make sure that the bride stays cool. And I like flowy fabrics that look really romantic, like the wave when the wind picks up.
Breathable.
Yes, so it just
Whimsical.
kind of it's so beautiful when it has movement. I really like movement. It's like hair. When hair moves in the wind, it's really pretty.
It
When the
is
skirt
pretty.
flows in the wind, it's really pretty.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Are there any, so as a videographer and a photographer, one of the iconic shots, like one of the traditional shots that we get is, the bride in the dress for the first time, before the first look, before the ceremony, and the mother of the bride or the sister of the bride, the best woman, maid of honor.
The maid of honor.
Maid of honor,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Like one of them is going to zip, they're going to button, they're going to tie. Is there
That's true.
Is there a trend? Like, do you have one that's more popular with the buttons, with the zips, with the ties?
The closure?
Yeah, the closure, yeah.
No, I think the buttons are the most classical, traditional, because buttons happened before zippers were invented many years ago, decades ago,
Yes.
right? And so even today, because we like the ease of getting dressed, even in the bridal gowns, even if we have covered beautiful silk buttons, we put in a zipper for just kind of
yes.
functionality, but you don't see it. You just see that it's buttons all the way down. So there are all sorts of
seen it.
innovation that's
You've
happening
seen-
in
I know.
the
I know.
closure.
There are hidden zippers behind those buttons.
Yeah, I get a peek behind the curtain though, because
So you've seen,
there's-
and then yeah.
they zip, and then like the last two are
Yes.
the button with
or
The scene,
or,
the photo
little
shot,
tool
the
thing.
video
yeah,
shot.
or you can zip it and then you can still button all of them because it still looks like it's a traditional closure, but you have the strength of the button to hold all the layers of fabric together.
Yeah. So when they come into the store, how far in advance do they like come visit you and try on dresses or design their dress? They
Usually
probably
6 months to a year. Some are earlier, some are later.
Okay.
Yeah, so that feels about right. 6
Yeah,
months
I've
to a
heard of
year.
8 months is kind of the magic number.
Yeah, that's good because it allows us to be able to do, like special beading. We can design.
This is so
This
beautiful.
is a custom fabric, so this would take longer. But the 8 months, the 6 months would be too short because we had to create the fabric first. The fabric didn't exist.
Oh my goodness.
So we would have to draw the flowers, specify the crystals, and the
Oh my gosh, and
all
you
the
have detail.
finishes.
It gets tighter and
yeah,
tighter
so,
as
yeah.
you make your
So
way
you
down.
see, it's a panel fabric, so it's not all the way the same. Do you see?
And for
So it
those
gets-
listening on
it gets
Spotify
lighter.
and Apple Podcast, you can see this on YouTube. You can
Oh,
check
yes.
out what we're
Yeah,
showing.
what we're looking at is
Yeah, I
just
can
all
see.
the details. So pretty much, if you're expecting a lot of details in your bespoke dress, you need to definitely be a 1 year
Right.
bride.
Anything with beading, lace, appliques, anything with a lot of handwork, also hand draping, that takes time too. Yeah.
Okay.
So the more advance notice we get, the more choices that a bride would have because we can create everything from scratch if we
Yes.
have the time. It
Absolutely.
may not be required for some brides because they want just a maybe it's a sheath dress that's cut on the bias and it's just beautiful silk charmeuse or crepe. Then we don't need the extra step of creating custom fabric, but it gives them that choice.
Yeah, and this is heavy.
Yes,
That's
I know.
something to think about too. Is like the
Yeah.
weight of a dress.
Yeah,
a
the
dress on you.
crystals definitely add weight.
I remember hearing that from some of my friends. Like their dress was so detailed, and the next day, they were kind of achy.
Yeah, yeah, it can get up there if it's a full dress and it's beaded. It is. Yeah, but it's
So
evenly distributed.
should they do any like workouts beforehand? Should they like wear something heavy for a couple days
Like
before
a weight pack?
Yeah, like
a weight pack.
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know if that's required. It's not that heavy. It's
I hear
not
the
that
Rocky
heavy.
music in the background.
Yeah, I think our designs will balance that out. We make sure that it's balanced, so it's not one side is heavier than the other, so it feels balanced and evenly distributed. So I wouldn't be worried about the weight. Is right now we're just holding it like this, but when it's on the body, you don't really feel it.
So when they receive the dress and now it's time to be fitted, how many appointments do they need to have to find the perfect fit? Do you recommend?
I would say average two and a half.
And like, is it like a 3 month, or do you need one like the week of?
Oh, I think 3 months would be good. 3 months before for the first one. If they plan ahead of time, we would do 3 months to 2 months before the wedding. And then when it gets closer, probably like I would get it done as soon as we can, and then they can take it home and store it. And people feel when they pick it up, there's kind of this feeling about completion.
Oh, it is.
Because at that time, there's a lot going on in the bride's life.
I actually like hung up my dress in my room on a pretty hanger, and then
look at it every day.
Oh, of course. But it was like the week of, and like because you take it out and you want it to breathe right out of your garment bag, and then I had a long veil and let that like extend it so there wouldn't be any wrinkles too, because you don't want wrinkles.
That's right. You need to let the train kind of hang and just let it breathe as well. So I think a couple weeks before would be kind of the latest.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
When, of course, we all know that there's some brides out there that want to lose the wedding weight. How do you handle or support that if you know that they're going through this body change before their wedding day?
So we get that a lot. A lot of brides do go through a special workout routine, or they have a special goal in mind. They'll tell us when they come. When we measure them, we ask them that. So where are you expecting to be? And they'll tell us. We'll still measure them that day, and we'll make a big note for our pattern maker in our sewing room. Okay, she's expecting to lose this much weight. We're estimating this much.
Everybody loses weight so differently too.
I know they do, but we will always cut the dress to what we measured and then leave room to take it. We expect to take it in, and that's okay at the first fitting. What I recommend is, if we know that's going to happen, we would say at your first fitting, be at your ideal weight, because at that first fitting is when we're going to bring the dress in to that final size, and we don't want to take the seam out of silk many times, in and out. It's not good for the fiber or the fabric. So we do it once.
Okay.
So
that'd be like the 3 month mark. You're like, this is you, right?
At the first fitting,
At the
whenever
first
that
fitting.
is, whenever that first fitting is where that we would like the bride to keep that shape.
Okay.
And
that's good for everybody to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Because, everybody wants to feel their best on their wedding day.
Yeah, and usually we work it out. We haven't had any issues with that. We've made it
not.
work. It's been good. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So, Luly, who is your ideal client? Like, how do people find you? How do they come to you? I would imagine that you sit down.
Most of our brides and clients come from their friends or family members who've been here before. The ones that
Washington
are,
wedding day.
Yeah. Yes. You, all of you, the whole community, kind of the wedding
Yes.
community. That's pretty fabulous. I've known for a long time. So we're all friends, and
So you're just so well known in this community and respected. Absolutely.
thank you. So I think it's
We have a little
yeah.
Luly right here.
yes.
And I love actually that in your ad in the Washington wedding day, you're in it. So they see
I know
who they're
it's the
working
first.
with.
It's the first time we're doing kind of that.
I
the
know.
last year, and I thought, why not? Because we're so custom.
So custom. It tells the story of who
Yeah,
they're gonna
and
be
we're
working with.
I think the only one here around this community that has the in-house designer. Like I'm here, and we're creating it here for the bride. I like that the relationship is very personal, and we're
Absolutely.
local.
And that's probably why you keep getting these referral.
Yeah, so we
clients.
know. Yeah, we've been here long enough. I've done, we've done like the sister's wedding and the cousin's wedding, and then their best friend's wedding.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, it's a thing to have a Luly wedding, a Luly dress.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Luly.
It's Luly.
budget for a custom wedding dress, where does that fall in line? Where is minimum, maximum? What should they budget for?
I think 5,000 would be a starting point for custom.
Okay.
I think, and then I think if I think about everything from kind of a clean, simple one to the more elaborate ones, the range. I mean, you can go way up.
Really, sky's the limit, right?
Sky's the limit. Yeah. If they want to be, just decked out in all crystals, and of course we can do it. It would be really, really fun. But I would say I would budget like 8.
Okay.
8, yeah.
So sitting here, we are surrounded by these beautiful dresses. I'm assuming these are sample dresses that they can come in and try on?
Yes, they can try on these dresses.
Does that guide them, or can they say they want this dress in their size?
They can. They can say we want this dress or this dress, and we want it in that size. Or they can say I want this dress, but I like a strapless.
Oh, of course.
Or I want this dress, and I want it with different beading, for example. So that would be kind of a semi-custom design.
Yeah.
A demi-custom design where you take hybrids of different pieces and you put it together. And our job as the designer for the bride is to make sure it's not overdone and it's balanced and the design is still intact and beautiful. So that we don't put too much, because certain elements work together, certain elements don't. So we're here to help them through that process to make sure that it's the perfect dress at the end.
I love that. So when they come in for their appointment and you're all about the experience, do you only do one appointment at a time, or do you take a couple appointments at the time? What's
This room that we're in is the bridal suite. So this, if a bride makes an appointment, this is their room.
Okay.
So they won't see anyone else.
Because we're locked out, actually.
Yeah.
Right now, it's by appointment only.
Yes.
I have to knock every time I want to come back in.
We like the
that.
privacy.
Yeah.
We like the privacy, and people can't see in here. This is a very special time for the bride and the family. We want to make sure that they're our focus.
Absolutely.
I love that.
So that leads to their wedding family coming to support their decision, finding the perfect dress. Again, we're talking to engaged couples. What would you recommend is the perfect team family to attend that meeting?
The first one?
Yeah, the first one selecting the perfect dress.
A lot of times, I would say, we see like just the bride themselves, and then sometimes we'll see like the mom or a sister or just a couple.
Yeah.
I find that those are more productive, like either just the bride or a couple, family members or friends. And then when it gets a little bit bigger, it's really fun. That might be better for the, like the first fitting, and they can come see it.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But it gets a little bit harder when it depends on how much that family
All
talks.
the
Too many
opinions.
Too many cooks in the
like
kitchen.
everybody has their input, and
Right.
maybe the bride likes that, and that's good for her. Then it's perfect. But sometimes it can be confusing if you have too many voices with
And
everyone's
emotionally
opinion.
overwhelming.
Yes. What do you think, Stephanie? Yeah. We're looking at Stephanie here because she sees a lot of our brides too. So she said usually there's 3 to 4 guests.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I love seeing the. I think it's really special when the mom can come and see that, or the maid of honor. Usually they would come. A lot of times that's like a sister or a best friend.
Yeah.
That's
It's a
really
special
fun.
moment. You always remember the day you find your wedding dress.
Yes.
You do. I remember mine. It was the last dress I put on.
Yeah. We have our tissue boxes kind of like spread out across because the moment they have the dress, usually, like
It's
the mom or
waterworks.
somebody. Yeah.
It is. It's a big moment because, again, every bride is completely different when envisioning their day. Some have been dreaming their whole life or just until they find that perfect someone. So it's a big moment.
Yeah. I guess for newly engaged couples, after so many weddings, like you've been in, helped so many brides have their wedding, is really to plan ahead, enjoy the process, and and then expect the unexpected to happen, because I always think those things sometimes are kind of, the fun part of it. Like you'll expect a couple little surprises that happen, and don't stress over the little things that day. You can plan ahead, and then you don't have to worry about it. I find that the most relaxed brides are the ones that are planning more ahead of time. They don't have as much stress at the end. They're really relaxed. They're
Yes.
like, okay, we're done with this.
They
this.
can
Yeah.
pinch themselves and say, it's my turn to get married.
Yeah. And,
Okay, of course we have to talk about trends. So what are the trends that you are seeing right now or are coming our way that you're excited about?
Well, because we do couture, we don't usually follow the trend because we don't sell anywhere else but here and to the bride. But I think comfort's a big thing now. It used to be in the very beginning of our business. It was a lot of corseting and tight and pull it in here and there. And right now it's more about kind of more comfort and still looking beautiful. It doesn't have to be
Not breathable.
20 bones, all around. Some people still want that corseted look, but we can do it in a softer way. So the boning is softer. It's more flexible. The fabric is more pliable, more soft now. And sometimes we even do stretch. So the stretch really gives it a comfort level too, that you can't tell that it doesn't look like a stretch material, but it does.
Like you said, 23 years, right?
Yeah.
You've seen all the trends
Yes,
come and go.
yes.
So I'm a videographer, and I get to see all these same trends. One of the trends that I've noticed the last couple of years is the outfit change. So the bride will have her gown
That's
The
true.
second
for
look.
the day, and then
Stephanie and I were just talking about the other day that it's like they'll buy 2-3 dresses, and because they have outfit changes now.
They want the cocktail, the reception, the ceremony, and the dance.
Yeah, and
Why
then we also
not?
do the rehearsal dinner, which is really fun because then when
Ooh.
we do that, we can make a story. We create a story with the 3 or 4 dresses that we do. This is what they
Where
wear.
have I been?
Yeah.
Like,
Want
I
another
should've
wedding?
found you.
Want another wedding? Yeah, so it would be the cute rehearsal dinner dress, and then the ceremony dress, and then they can change into the dinner dress, and then the dancing dress. So that's
you
like
got to be able
4.
to move in,
Yeah,
the
'cause-
dancing
yeah.
dress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is becoming a big thing now. The second dress look is coming back hard.
It is.
And we're loving it because we love publishing that, seeing that all the details and the dress changes because we love fashion.
It's so fun. It's like the second reveal of the bride, right? And she can walk in again, and then it's the
and they're a little more
announcement.
feisty.
Yeah, they are. And they're more relaxed. They let their hair down. I just went to one of our beautiful bride's wedding, and I remember when she came out in her dinner dress. So it was what she was going to do her first dance. And it's just a completely different feeling. She's like, okay, now I'm married. I'm a Mrs., and it's just relaxed.
And their
yeah.
smiles are 10 times bigger,
Yeah.
too, because they finally say, I do.
Yeah, and it's actually good to change. I think it's nice. When you have one dress on, you have their pictures done, you have your first look and all of that through. It's really refreshing to change.
is
It's a nice
refreshing.
variety.
To get out of
Yeah,
that
for
first
sure.
dress and then get into another dress.
It always,
Yeah.
you somehow breathe a little bit when you change. It's
Also shoes. That's another thing. I always recommend having at least 2 pairs of shoes.
I actually love that you brought that up.
Yeah,
They
2
should
pairs of shoes.
find their perfect shoe when they're starting their alterations, right?
Oh, yes. So for their first fitting, their homework is to bring any undergarments that they would like to wear, special undergarments they want to wear with the wedding dress, and their shoes are a must. The shoes must come with
The
it.
actual shoes?
The actual
Right.
shoes, and if they don't have that, I need a shoe that has the height that they're expecting
That they're looking for.
to wear. Mhm.
And then if they change it into another shoe and they are doing their bustle, right, that might be something to consider too, right?
Right. Yeah.
And especially when you're doing the bustling, you definitely want them at the last fitting, right? So they learned how to bustle the wedding dress.
Usually, yes. Usually at that time, I'm asking for the maids and the people who are going to be assisting her in the dressing there, and we'll videotape it with their phone. Like we'll do.
Little training
their
session?
phone.
Yeah. Usually, I would say let's videotape it.
If they're not there present at the
Yeah, and we'll
appointment.
tape it. And here's how you. Even if they're there, we tape it because there's a lot going on that day.
I'm guilty. I was there and I did not remember. Too much prosecco.
You had a lot of fun. I can
Yeah,
tell.
a lot of fun. But it's a big piece, and you want to do it because you're having fun, and you're like, oh, we need a bustle. When do you recommend to bustle the wedding dress?
Like at what point? in the day?
Before if the train. Usually the train is too long to dance in. I would say before the first dance.
Well, what I would always recommend is if you're doing a receiving line,
Oh,
you're
yes.
actually doing it while you're doing the receiving line. It's a good multitasking.
Oh, that's a nice
because
one.
it's a little hidden, right? And it's just kind of part of the day because you want to keep going. You don't want to slow down.
So you got people working in the back while you're receiving. I like
I
that.
had a kind of a bigger A-line dress. It was fluffy, I guess, but it wasn't that hard. But again, it might be a 2 or 3 person job to bustle a
You
wedding
must
dress.
have had, okay, I can tell you had a ball gown or a big A-line.
I had a Ramona.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't too, it was just there.
If you have a full dress, it takes some time to do it.
It does. And if you have multiple layers.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, you had multiple
I had
layers.
a lot of layers.
Was it tulle?
It was kind of tully. I'll have to show
Organza?
you.
Okay.
Organza. I think it was more organza.
Okay.
Yeah, it was soft. You know what? I'm going to say
You need
this.
to put that in the
When
schedule, right? The bustle time.
So this is my little thing about wedding dresses. I want you to be huggable on your wedding day. I don't want it to be like you're so stiff, you're not approachable. To be your best self and look you, right? That was my dress. I wanted to look huggable.
I like that. I like that rule.
Yeah.
That's a good rule.
Because you don't want to be stiff, like you said, like
The stretch is important. The comfort's important.
Yeah, the comfort's important. You want to just be like having fun, be your best self, and be huggable.
Be huggable. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But be beautiful. There, of course, that's important.
Last question for you.
Yes.
Can
Go
this be
for
our
it.
last
Go
question?
for it.
All right. Veils. Okay. Do you design any veils at all for the dresses? You do.
We do. Actually, well, the camera can't see it, but you can see there's a
There's a
rack
lot
of them.
of
You can see we
veils.
even have that one veil with the ostrich feather that goes all the way around. It's pretty fun.
So
It's
when is it
so
appropriate for veils? Like, who is the prime candidate? What bride do you say should have a veil or should not have a veil, or do they go with certain dresses and not other dresses, or how does that work?
All bridal dresses can go with veils. I love veils.
I love veils too.
I love veils. It's the one time
I actually think brides
that
look.
someone can wear a veil.
Yeah, a veil, and
Yeah.
also I love how they photo on brides.
I do too.
And this is
all
another
dresses.
thing that I pay attention to, where you put the veil on the head. Because if you put the veil at the bottom underneath the bun, you're cut off.
Yeah.
And it pops out of your neck. So you really want to bring that veil
Up.
and be here, or even the top's fine, but
It creates actually a vertical height, right?
yeah, and a nice A-line. And actually, if you're kind of self-conscious in some areas, like your arms, if you think they're a little too fluffy, a veil can actually make you look very complimentary. But again, this is my point of view.
Bring a veil.
My
I'm
point
gonna
of view.
have her model one. I'm
your
gonna put one
show.
on you.
But yeah, that'd be thing. Don't put the veil at the bottom of there. And I know hair designers and stylists are maybe supporting me with that thing, but they do in the photos. It cuts off their head.
Another thing I love about the veil is when me, the videographer, and the photographer, we all get under the veil with the couple, like we're doing couples portraits, and we get under there and we take some of those shots.
Okay, we're putting it on you because you were talking about veils. Okay,
We
gotta
should
get the
explain
tag in
it.
the back. Okay,
I should have
here we
hair
go.
tie.
See? Here, I'm
Dun,
gonna
dun,
move this one.
But it just flows. See how it flows, like, and it can kind of feel like a little blanket,
Yeah.
But and
Isn't that romantic? Look.
Yeah, and pick it up when you're walking. That's one of my favorite photos too. Is like
Here,
my
look
veil
at her.
was a
She's
train.
That's fabulous.
Isn't it fabulous?
This one's really long.
This is a
This one's
cathedral.
really long.
A cathedral.
Yeah, it's super long.
Wow.
We can
So it
cuddle
just
with
feels
it.
really good.
It's like a little safety blanket on your wedding day. Just,
But it is. It's just it's just a beautiful piece. And then of course a lot of the times then you take it off. So it depends. You have to be a veil bride to
Yes.
wear a veil, and
Yeah,
it's
I
with
think
you
so.
the whole time. And some actually like how they are, and they'll wear it through dinner. But I recommend taking it off before the dinner reception.
Oh, yes,
yes.
Because that,
Absolutely.
especially if you don't have a second look, it kind of makes you refreshed.
yeah, and especially
Yeah.
one that long, because you're gonna have everybody.
Oh
stepping
no,
on it.
definitely
Doing
when
this
it's
all
like
day.
that is for ceremony and pictures, and then you
pictures.
take it off for the wedding.
And even before, if you do a receiving line, because you kind of get snagged when you're hugging. So, of course, you have the local brides here in Washington State that will drive and have their one-on-one appointment with you. But I'm sure you get brides out of state that want a
We do,
Luly dress.
and out of the country and out of state. Yes.
So how does that process work?
So it's the same process, except we have to coordinate a little bit more because they don't live here or they're having their wedding elsewhere. So they would fly in for the consult and the fitting, and then we would ship the dress to their home or the location where they want it to be.
And
Sometimes
they'll-
it goes to a hotel.
Oh.
Yeah, so
And then do they do the alterations? Just,
we do it.
Oh, you still? So they
We still do it. We like to do everything for
I
the
don't
bride.
blame you.
Yeah,
It's
we
your
like to.
signature on
Yeah,
each
we want to
dress.
make sure that the fit is kind of to the standards and that it's the way that the bride had expressed to us. So we do that.
Well, and they're representing you as well, so you wouldn't
Yes.
want someone else to.
Yes.
You're in a Luly dress.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the fit is like so super important.
Yeah.
Of
Such a
course,
lovely-
of course.
Yeah.
No.
I learned so much today.
Yeah. Did you know we have a Luly fit?
What's a Luly
What is
fit?
a Luly fit?
It's a top secret.
Oh.
You have to be my bride,
Oh.
and I'll tell you.
Bride, okay. How do we be your bride? How do I listen to you?
I don't know. You can be my groom.
Okay.
Well, the Luly fit is a way that we actually start with the design. How do we design a garment and also fit a garment that makes the silhouette of the bride look like her best? So if she says, I want to accentuate my waist and I want to hide this area and I want to do that, I want to hide here and I want to show this, we can do that. So it's just a way we do the fitting to make her body looks
You
just
mold
perfect.
it, mold the body.
Yes,
to the-
it's a fit. It's a Luly fit.
A Luly fit. I want a Luly fit.
Well,
Yeah.
you can't. You can never have a Louis fit.
I know I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I won't.
Luly
Oh, I'll
fit.
come back. I'll be a
I
mother
do
of
a
the
lot.
bride.
Yeah, I do a lot
Or,
of anniversary.
Anniversaries
We've done
or
anniversary
award
dresses.
parties. I got a lot of
Award party.
those.
Red carpet.
Red carpet.
Yeah.
How can they find you, Luly?
It's just lulyyoung.com.
Oh, perfect. And it's a
Nice.
beautiful website, by the way.
Thank you.
And of course, they can find you on Instagram as well at
Yes.
Luly Yang Couture.
Yes.
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 Perfect.
Very
Yes.
nice.
Awesome.
Luly Young Couture here in Seattle. I had such a great time with you today. I learned so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks
so
for the
much.
chat. That was fun to talk about
I
what we're all
know.
passionate about.
I know. And seriously, all these engaged brides are going to definitely be learning so much for their day and what to look for when they're finding their perfect dress.
So exciting.
It is
sure.
exciting.
Yes.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to Wedding Day Podcast. Of course, you can find us on Spotify, the good old YouTube.
Apple, all the places, all the podcast places. Yeah, and you can view us on YouTube if you're listening in the car or wherever you're listening right now and you want to see maybe some of the examples that Luly showed us with these dresses and with the veil. You can check that out on YouTube. All the handles are at Wedding Day Podcast.
Yep. And definitely visit us on our Instagram as well at Wedding Day Podcast as well. So thank you again for tuning in. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.